How's it going, everybody? Welcome to OP Entertainment. I'm Omar Darwish.
And I'm Pratik Cherian.
And this is our review of Thunderbolts. We're going to go spoiler-free. Pratik, what did you think of this movie?
Man, you know what? I'll summarize it by saying this. As we were walking out of the theater, somebody was talking behind us. I don't know if you heard it. But whoever she was goes, well, that might be the most unique Marvel movie I've seen. And I don't know if I necessarily agree, but the fact that that's a reaction coming out of the theater, to me, says a lot about this movie.
Or the fact that that woman may have seen like 5 Marvel movies in the past. It's pretty unique. It's pretty unique. Yeah. I'll agree that maybe as far as like this most recent phase or like handful of movies, it definitely feels a little more unique. As far as
go on.
I think this movie, I'll just get into my favorite part about it, is that I think this movie has a deep message and more to say than most. Like, we disagree on this, but I think like Loki season 1 and even season 2 has a lot to say. And like, other than that, the MCU overall doesn't really strive to have like a deep message per project, right? Like, maybe overall there's like an overarching message, but this I felt like had, like I said, it had something nice to say, and I was here for that. Did it swing? Did it hit it out of the park every time, comedy-wise or action-wise or thematically or tonally? Not every single time, but I liked what it was trying to do. I think it succeeded in that aspect.
Yeah, I think to me that's probably my favorite part as well. Yeah. I'm not going to go so far as to say deep message, but like it has a message, like it's trying to say something about like something beyond just like, hey, we're Marvel and we can still make money. Right. Which the last few projects have almost felt like you could feel like every Marvel project or like over the last few years has been like this referendum on Marvel and superheroes and all of that. And this one is actually telling like a human message with like human characters who have flaws and feel things. And I think the other thing I really liked about this is if you're describing this movie and you'd be like, oh, you know, it's like found family and it's like, funny and quirky, like you're like, I think if you told people that, what the image they would have in their head is like Guardians of the Galaxy, like a James Gunn type of found family thing. And this isn't that either.
The dynamics are similar,
but without feeling like it's trying to go for that type of style. Like it's a style that's its own.
I would say this: if you're looking for the dynamics between those kinds of the characters in Guardians of the Galaxy, but like a more Earth-based, much smaller scope story. I mean, actually, kind of bigger. This is hard to describe. Like, it's kind of like a bigger scoped, small movie, or maybe it's a smaller scoped big movie. I don't know how to describe this, but like. I think you have to just watch it to know what I'm talking about.
The message and the theme is so relevant on a personal level, and so that's and so relevant to these characters on a personal level, and that's what makes it feel like small in scale, but it still has like the big superhero, like, hey, we've got to save the world, save the city kind of stuff. So it still feels big but small at the same time.
And let's just talk about the characters. As soon as they all get together, these Thunderbolts, which is very quickly in the movie for me. I'm not going to spoil it, but like it's very quickly in the movie. They don't make you wait like halfway through.
What did you think about the pacing of this movie?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. As we were going through it, there were a couple points where I'm like, I don't know. And then when I got out of the movie, and I'm like, I didn't look at my watch once. And I usually do.
Do you know what's weird about the pacing of this movie? It's not like they get to the third act quickly, but the third act like set piece kind of begins halfway through the movie. So you're kind of like, you feel like you're in the third act for like the second half of the movie.
And but at the same time, like that second half, third act, like you're describing, that's also where all the good stuff is.
Yeah, I thought that as the credits were rolling, I was like, okay, when I'm reviewing this, I'm definitely going to talk about how this movie picks up in the last half, and that's like the best parts. But I kind of liked like their dynamics together when they first meet and like how they like work together or not, you know.
Florence Pugh is just
Florence Pugh is incredible.
Yeah, like if Florence Pugh is on, do you think it's the Russian accent like brings something else out of it? There's something there.
She's great in everything.
She's great in everything.
She's fantastic. Yeah, I just every time she's on screen, I'm like so grateful that not only that Marvel cast her in this, but that she wants to stay on and isn't like letting her success like take her out of the MCU, right?
Yeah, and she's not phoning it in. Like
exactly. Yeah. Nobody really is in this. I would say. This is like the best Bucky's been in a while. I would say. This movie is the biggest argument for why Bucky should have gotten the shield in the first place at the end of Endgame. Because, like, is it not literally, like, in moments, I'm like, this is why he would be, like, a great Cap. Like, I don't know. And everyone's criticisms for him, like, not being Cap, I think are addressed in this. Yeah. So, anyway.
No, he's good. Wyatt Russell's really good.
Yeah.
I'd say Wyatt Russell and Florence Pugh were my favorite parts of the movie.
My favorite parts of the movie are definitely Florence Pugh and Louis Pullman.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot.
Whoever plays Sentry, he's awesome. He's incredible.
Yeah.
The character of Sentry is great. I definitely want to like read up more on him now. I didn't know too much about him.
I'll say this, coming from the comic book background, from a comic book standpoint, it's such a uniquely like comic book character that I had serious questions about how they would translate it to screen. And it's not a perfect like they changed powers. They changed a lot of things about him while keeping the essence of the character in a way that like I kind of forgot like that was what made us all fall in love with the MCU, at least as comic book fans.
Well, like that's adaptation, right? This is maybe it's because like I grew up loving like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and like I would just always see, or like I don't know, even like George Clooney's Batman on TV. I'd be like that's just this movie version of the character. Like it's just a different version.
But it's all about like keeping the essence, and so like they changed so much, but they kept the essence in a way that just really, really works for this movie. Okay. So I tell you, like, oh, you're interested? It's not like if you go to the comic books, it's not going to feel the same because that's such a uniquely comic book experience when you're reading it in the comics.
Okay, but you like what they did with it.
I love what they did with it. It was and he was great as an actor. He brought, there was a lot of different things he had to bring to that role, and he brought all of them.
I want to say this as someone who loves The Boys, and you don't like The Boys, the show, the TV show, The Boys. I thought that this was like the MCU's kind of go at The Boys. Did it not? Like, especially with some of the stuff that Valentina's trying to pull. I won't get into it, but like it felt very The Boys. And like
I don't want to answer that because I feel like that's going to spoil.
Do you agree or disagree? Is all I want to know.
I see where you're coming from with that.
Because I honestly was like, oh, this is probably like your cup of tea, because it's almost like a lot of moments, not just one, but a lot of instances, I'm like, this feels like The Boys, but like for like a PG-13 version. Like honestly, like without all the limbs being ripped off and stuff, you know.
Let's talk Valentina for a second.
Okay, you go ahead.
I'm not a fan.
I agree. Of the character or of the acting or what? Because I feel like she just didn't work, and I was kind of disappointed.
You know, it's overall. One of those things that I feel like you and I have gone back and forth on this character in past projects.
Yeah.
And this one especially is where I felt Julia Louis-Dreyfus bringing a little bit too much of Selena Myers from Veep into this. I don't know if you've seen Veep.
I haven't.
Yeah. But there's a lot, and like, I don't know, I feel like the past entries that we've had of this character in the MCU haven't felt that way, and so to me it was a little jarring, and also a little like, I don't know, like, to me it's the part of the movie that works the least.
For sure. You saying that, I didn't necessarily feel like she was bringing like any certain character into this. I felt like she was bringing a TV acting quality to this, like, or not even that, but like she kind of felt like what I was expecting from Harrison Ford. I thought like Harrison Ford was gonna be like, I'm a big actor, I'm coming into this MCU, it's comic book nonsense, I'm just gonna phone in my performance. And I'm not gonna say she phoned it in, but she gave a TV performance for sure. And like, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that, but it didn't feel like on par. Everyone else is kind of pouring their souls out here. Like even Walmart brand Captain America's pouring out his soul, right? So what, like,
I wouldn't even say it's that, oh, she's bringing a TV performance, but it's definitely like,
I don't know if she feels like, or to me it felt like she didn't think that this could be elevated material. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels very like, I don't want to say like B movie, but like this is what, like it's almost like Transformers level of villain.
Do you know what it reminded me of kind of at moments? Blue Beetle, the villain in Blue Beetle.
I forgot that movie existed,
exactly.
But sure, yeah. But all the things we said about Blue Beetle, yes.
Blue Beetle was good and all. Anyway.
Not a Blue Beetle review.
Yeah, she's definitely the weakest part of the movie for me. And I thought the humor a lot of times didn't work, especially from Alexi. For me, it didn't really work.
The humor was not there. But I'll also say this. I also think that they did kind of, like, for an MCU project, they did kind of dial back the humor, and I thought it worked really well, especially given some of the themes they were tackling.
Yeah, you know? But like,
I think what happened was because they dialed back the amount of jokes, it kind of let some of that like message shine through, because in past projects they would have like cut every bit of like tension or stakes with a joke, and it would have felt awful, and they didn't do that quite as much here.
And I'm not saying like I want them to like spit out a joke a minute, and like for every like 10 jokes 5 of them will hit, and that'll be good enough. This I think there was 10 jokes in the whole movie and 5 of them hit, and so for me that just like wasn't,
I agree with you, but I also like, I want to make note that like when we're talking about this, a lot of people are going to come into this expecting like the MCU joke formula, and that's not what this does.
It tries in parts. Like I would say half of it is kind of MCU formula jokey, and then half of it feels like genuine improv from the cast, kind of. And that's the stuff that kind of hits for me. Cinematography wise, another down point for me, because I felt like this just looked exactly like the last Captain America movie we watched, or even like, I don't know. This just felt like it just feels like. You disagree?
Yeah, because that last Captain America movie was awful.
No, but it was shot like this. Like
I think this.
It was put together poorly, but I mean this just felt boring the way it was shot. There's a couple interesting shots and stuff they do with Sentry.
Yeah. I won't say it's boring. It's just it's serviceable. I guess
it's safe.
Yeah,
it's very
I think,
safe.
Yeah, safe is a good word, but I'll take safe. Captain America: Brave New World was not safe. It was just awful.
Sure. The score in this was incredible too. Are you ready to score this though?
Yeah. I'm ready. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay.
I really enjoyed parts of it. It's not perfect by any means, but I appreciate it trying.
Yeah.
Humor was a bit of a miss for me. I think if that lands for you, you'll probably find this more of like an 8 or 9 maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of the movies where I came out of it and it's just like, it feels good to come out of a Marvel movie and just like be like, oh, I had a good time. I had a good time watching this.
Yeah, it ends strong for me.
Yeah.
Like not just the post credit scenes, but the actual ending of the movie is strong, and the big moments between the characters work for me. So that was great. The score was great.
It feels like a movie that actually has something it wants to tell instead of just setting up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it does also do.
But it also does set up. But that again, like the Marvel movies we loved from like phase 1 through 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like the setting up part is kind of not an afterthought, but it's definitely in the background.
Yeah, I was gonna say they should have just led with this, but you can't really lead with this. You got to build up for it. This feels like the excuse for why you cast all the characters, that all these side characters like Yelena and Wyatt Russell, and this is the reason to bring them all together for this movie. It was great. I'm excited to see what they do next. I'm thinking, I kind of echo everything you're saying, and I want to give it a 7. But the fact that it did go the extra mile to give us a good message, and it delivered on that. And with all these performances, I'm thinking 8. I'm thinking 8.
Solid, yeah. All right. What I don't remember.
I think we have a gap next week, but we'll figure something out.
We got to start looking things up before we turn on the cameras. All right, we'll see you guys.